This is a slow but strong yoga practice that is designed to help support your energy levels during the mid to late luteal phase. And even though this is designed for that specific time in the cycle when you might feel a perceptible shift in both your energetic quality and your mindset, maybe your mood, you can use this practice anytime throughout your cycle when you're just looking to sort of unlock your natural source of energy. So we move very slowly through deepening progressions in this practice. And we're also utilizing the concept of kriya, these movements where we're alternating between two postures in a quick fashion with breath to really generate heat, to promote circulation, and to just uncover what is already there, that natural source of energy that is available to you. So this is a long form practice. It is complete from start to finish. All you will need for today is a mat. And if you wish to enjoy your final resting posture with legs up the wall, you might strategically position yourself near a wall space. This one is supportive for all phases of your cycle, as I mentioned, but it's specifically designed for the luteal phase. So it's a way to kind of tap into your natural energy without being overly activating. Sometimes our really strong or kind of powerful vinyasa sequences can be overly activating at this time in the cycle. So instead, we're working with very grounding standing postures, focused intention, slow and steady breath, but it won't be easy. There's plenty of challenge available in this practice where we're exploring both hip openers and revolved postures with some belly down back bends and some arm balances sprinkled throughout. So this natural thread of the practice kind of flows seamlessly from one phase, from one wave into the next, and you'll find that your body is sort of prepared for the challenges when they arise. And that's the goal, where we're not trying to overwork during this phase in the cycle. We're wanting to keep things kind of slow and steady, that lower intensity that allows us to continue to show up. It supports our motivation and consistency without dipping the energy account into the red. So let's go ahead and get into today's practice. Let's begin our practice together today in a comfortable standing position. Let your feet be about hips-width distance apart. Spread the toes. Feel all four corners of your feet connect to the ground. And then slowly start to stack your body. So the knees over the ankles, hips over the knees, ribs over the hips, shoulders over the ribs. And then let the crown of your head lengthen up so you feel this nice, strong, tall spine from the very beginning. You might close your eyes for a few moments here as you connect to the rhythm of your breath. In and out through the nose. As you shift your weight forward and back, start to locate your center. So that space where you feel balanced in between. You can do the same side to side. And just kind of scan the body from head to toe, looking for any areas that feel a bit sleepy still, maybe areas that feel spacious. And then as you continue to scan the body, listen for any intentions that arise. So what you want to walk away from this practice with, what sensation, what mood, what energetic quality do you wish to create? Start to plant that seed here in the beginning of your practice, and then let your movement be a tribute to that intention. If your eyes are closed, gently blink them open. Let's take a big inhale, reach the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn your palms to press toward the ceiling, big breath. Root down evenly through both feet, and then as you exhale, lift and lean over to the left. Lengthen through both sides of the waist evenly, press the palms away from you, feel that stretch across the shoulders. Come up through center, big breath. And to the other side, up and over to the right. Really root down through the opposite foot. Waking up the body here. Big inhale, come through center. Then as you exhale, take your hands out to your sides, out to a T. Press the palms away like you were pressing two walls on either side of you. Big breath in. And as you exhale, twist to the left. Keep your hips square. Once again, pressing the palms away now to the front and to the back. Really awaken the obliques, the entire torso here in this twist, freeing the rib cage from the pelvis. So the pelvis stays square, ribs rotate, come through center, big inhale. As you exhale, twist to the other side. Once again, squaring the hips here, lengthening up and out of the pelvis, pressing the palms away in opposite directions. Soften your shoulders away from the ears. And then slowly come through center, big breath in. As you exhale, interlace your fingers behind you this time. Find yoga mudra. So we're stretching across the chest, this natural, energizing posture here. Anytime we create that expansion and spinal extension, we're tapping into our body's natural source of energy. Gentle bend in the knees, stretch the fingertips toward your inner heels, and curl the low ribs, the front ribs in. So that means taking the sitting bones just slightly toward the inner heels and then stretch up through the chest. So feel that length. Big breath in. Deep bend in the knees as you exhale, bring heart, belly, chest to the thighs, fold forward. Stretch your knuckles up towards the sky. Keep the heels of the hands hugging toward each other to deepen the stretch. And then as you're ready, release the hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank pose. We'll enjoy one round of Sun A here. Big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly lower all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, cobra, hips stay grounded. Awaken the spine, lengthen the crown of the head away from the floor. And release. Tuck the toes. Inhale back to high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet a few rounds here. Lengthen the hip creases up and back. Soften heart, belly, chest toward the thighs. Rub the inner upper arm bones forward in space. Press evenly through all 10 finger pads. Feel the length stretching in both directions. Inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees, lift your heels. And on the exhale, step your feet back to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold deeply. Weight is in the ball mounds of the feet. Relax the head and neck. Inhale, rise to stand. Reach your arms overhead as you do. Big breath in. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Now we begin our flow. Step your feet together so that the big toes touch. Relax your hands by your sides for Samastitihi. We'll take a big breath in and a slow breath out. Inhale, chair pose. Reach your arms overhead, sit your hips back and down. Again, curl the tail gently toward the inner heels, lift up, feel that ripple effect through the spine as you stretch up through the chest. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. With your exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Nice deep seated chair pose here. So get a little bit lower. And then we're going to move through what we call a kriya. So it's a quick movement to stimulate circulation and to generate some heat. Our first one will look like this. We start in chair pose with the hands to the heart. We step back to crescent lunge, arms reach overhead. Then we switch sides. We'll pick up the pace. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Switching sides here, keeping the heart and chest elevated. You can pick up the pace as much as feels comfortable for you. The goal is to quicken that pace, to improve circulation, and again, to generate heat from the inside out. Find that breath. Forceful exhales through the mouth, deep inhales through the nose. This is an energizing breath pattern, an energizing kriya. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to your chair pose, big breath. Feel the effects of that movement. Let it ripple, let it expand, almost like you feel your energetic body pulsing here. Big breath. And as you exhale, fold over your legs. Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back, pause in plank pose. Big inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, lower the body in one line all the way down to the mat. You have the option for cobra with the hips down as you inhale, or upward dog, the hips elevate and the arms straighten. On your exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, enjoy a breath or two here. When you're ready, big toes touch. Inhale, right leg stretches up and back. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, core plank. Breathe it out. Inhale, extend, gather energy, and exhale, contract to the center, pull everything in. One more like this. Inhale, and exhale to the center. Inhale, reach. This time, step your right foot through between your hands. Come into that nice wide stance, your deep lunge. Turn the back heel flat, arranging the feet for warrior two. So the front heel bisects the back arch. We wrap the right sitting bone under. So you have this strong, stable foundation before we rise up in full warrior two. Keep that front knee bending deeply, approaching that 90-degree horizontal plane with the thigh, and then root down through the knife edge of your back foot. So you feel some separation across the bowl of the pelvis. Big breath here as you start to settle into warrior two. As you're ready, take opposite elbows behind you. So feel that stretch across the front of the chest. Support your lower back with your forearms. So feel equal and opposite action. As you press your forearms into your back naturally tends to straighten a little bit more. Let's take a big breath here. And then start to crawl your left fingertips toward your right thigh. With an inhale, reverse warrior, release your right arm up and back. Use your left hand to press your right thigh down. As you come back up through center, clasp your elbows now overhead, so up high. Feel the length in both sides of the waist. Sink the hips a little bit deeper. And then as you exhale, lean this shape up and over your front thigh. Release your right forearm down. Left arm stretches overhead, extended side angle. If you want a little bit more, you can release that right arm straight out in front of you, feeling that rotation of the shoulders into the horizontal plane. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, come back up through warrior two. Let the exhale take you down to frame your foot. Come onto the back toes. Step back into plank. Inhale. Move through your vinyasa. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, cobra with the hips down, or upward dog. The hips elevate. So your thighs are free. You have space. Only tops of the feet and hands touching. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Between sides here, we are going to roll forward back into plank as slowly as you possibly can. Lower the body as a unit all the way to the earth. Untuck the toes. You can rest your chin or your forehead on the mat here. Begin to bend your knees. Press the soles of the feet toward the ceiling, and then inch your legs a little bit closer together so that you feel the hip points grounded and you feel the legs are parallel. You might even create a little bit of tone by hugging the legs to the midline. You'll feel your glutes fire up right away. From here, we're going to lift the thighs and knees as well as the torso off the mat. So you're going to be reaching your fingertips toward your outer knees as you lift. Let's take a big inhale. And as you exhale, lift it up. So lift thighs and torso off the mat. Stretch your fingertips toward your outer knees. Press the soles of the feet toward the sky. Really feel the glutes engage. You might not move or create a lot of distance, but you can feel the engagement working here. You can feel the muscles start to come online. Let's lift the knees 1 inch higher. Lift your chest 1 inch higher. Keep the neck nice and neutral. Shoulders are relaxed. Last big breath here. See if you can lift even just a little bit more. Feet towards the sky and release. Take your right ear to your mat. Sway the hip side to side, releasing the back bend here, just giving that sensation an opportunity to dissolve. Then we'll take the hands under shoulders. Tuck your toes under. With your breath, on an exhale, lift up into high plank, knees up or knees down, and exhale, downward facing dog. We'll start with our second side now, big toes touch. Inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, curl it in. Feel that strong breath. Inhale, reach. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, round the spine, coil the belly in. Last one like this. Inhale, reach, and exhale, press through the hands, create space. And inhale, re-extend. Let's step the left foot through between the hands. Back heel turns flat. Arrange the feet for warrior two. Front heel bisects the back arch. Find that strong, stable foundation, and then slowly rise up. Find warrior two. Create separation between the thigh bones by pressing the left shin forward and dialing the knife edge of your right foot into the mat. Arms float up to the horizontal plane. See if you can use your proprioception to feel when they are level side to side. Telescope the rib cage out of the pelvis as you sink a little bit lower. Clasp, opposite elbows at your lower back here. Broaden across the chest. Draw the low ribs slightly in. Make sure as you gaze down the inseam of your left leg that you can see your big toe, so that knee is dialing open. Start to crawl your right fingertips for the left hip crease. Use your right hand to press down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Release your left hand up and back. So we feel these opposite actions. The right hand pressing down, the left arm extending up and back. Inhale, come up through center. Take opposite elbows overhead this time. Really press your elbows into your hands to broaden across the upper back. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, lean that whole shape over your left thigh. Release left forearm to thigh. Right arm stretches overhead. Keep the legs strong and steady. Roll the right shoulder open to stack. If you need a little bit more, you take the left arm straight out in front of you. So really encouraging that left shoulder under, that right shoulder open. As you're ready, inhale, come back up, warrior two. Let the exhale carry you down to your lunge. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Inhale, plank. Strong, steady plank. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Inhale your back bend, either cobra or upward dog, really stretching the chest open. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet for a moment here. Catch your breath. And sigh it out. We'll get ready to transition back to the top of the mat. So gaze at your thumbs, step your hands a little bit closer together. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels. And as you exhale, step your feet to the outside of your hands. Come into Malasana squat. Don't sweat it too much. If your heels lift up off the mat, that's okay. Use your elbows to press the inner thighs open. You can press palms to the center or even peaceful fists if you need a slightly deeper stretch here. Lift up through the chest. Feel that deep sensation, deep awakening in the base of the spine. From here, we will begin our second Kriya, or that nice strong pulsation. So we basically just move between two postures in a quick fashion with that quick breath. So we're going to take the arms out nice and wide. You can touch index finger and thumb for Gyan Mudra if you wish. And then as we rise up, we're going to come to stand, sweep the arms out to a cactus shape, and then come back down, press the knees open. So again, it's up to standing, arms to cactus, and back down. So we're circling the arms. We'll start to quicken the pace here. Inhale, come up, and exhale, come down. You can switch the breath if you wish. Just find that natural rhythm and pick up the pace a little bit. So you're pressing through the heels, finding that strong breath. So deep inhale, fully through the nose, and then that forceful exhale through the mouth. It sounds like this. You'll generate heat. You'll feel that expansion of your energetic body. Let's get 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly rise all the way up. Relax your hands by your sides. Enjoy a few deep breaths. Start to notice right away the sensation, taking this pause to really soak all of that energy in. Deep breaths, and then you can slowly start to step the feet closer together, about hips width distance, and we'll continue our flow. Inhale, reach those arms overhead, and exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. You can move straight from plank to downward dog, or explore a vinyasa, coming all the way to the earth, untucking toes, cobra, or up dog for your back bend. Broaden the collarbones apart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the big toes to touch. As you're ready, right leg rises. Extend, open, expand. Exhale straight to the center, curl in, core plank. Press through the hands, round the upper back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, coil in. Last one like this. Inhale. And exhale, curl to center, create the space, really press through the hands and step your foot through into a lunge. You've got that nice wide lunge here. Right hip crease sinking down, left thigh pressing energetically up. Let's turn the back heel flat this time for warrior one. So we keep the hips square to the front, back toes about at 45 degrees. Really root down through the knife edge of that back foot. Dial the right shin forward. Inhale, warrior one, big breath. Reach the arms overhead. And enjoy this posture for a few moments. So we sink down into that front thigh. We press back through the knife edge of your back foot. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. And then here we'll add on. So we inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, come halfway down. Reach the fingertips forward. At the same time, press your left heel back. We're going to send the left arm behind you, reach the fingertips towards the back of your mat, and then we're going to stack the shoulders. So wrap the right arm under left shoulder, so you're opening the body, almost like extended side angle. And then we'll take the right hand to the right shin, straighten that right leg any amount, and the left arm high, triangle pose. So slightly different entry here, just allowing the mind to work in a slightly different way. Wrap the right sitting bone underneath you, and really anchor all four corners of that right foot, keeping a micro bend in the right knee. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Lengthen evenly through both sides of the waist. So try to create as much space as you can between your right hip crease and right armpit. And then gaze down at your right big toe. Start to bend into the right knee a lot. Stretch your right fingertips out in front of you. Let them land on the mat. And then give the weight from your left foot to your right. Lift that left leg high in half moon B. So Ardha Chandrasana B here. Gaze down the front line of your body. Make sure you can see your back toes so your top leg isn't moving too far back or forward. And then really root down through all four corners of that right foot so you feel that equal and opposite action coming back up through the right leg. So we're not dumping into the right hip crease, but we have a lot of space there. Last big breath here, stack shoulders, stack hips. And then as slowly as you can, bending into that right knee, gently touch the left toes down. Let your left hand frame your right foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot, lunge. Inhale, plank. Feel the difference between both sides of your body here. Exhale all the way to the earth. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Find your back bend, broaden the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here. Again, just being mindful of the sensation, how you can feel the work from the first side. And then between sides, we'll inhale, come forward, find your plank pose. Lower the body together as a unit. See if you can touch down all together on the floor. Bring your chin or your forehead to the mat, arms by your sides. Bend your knees once again. Inch your knees a little bit closer so that you know your thighs are about hips width distance apart. For this round of Dhanurasana or bow pose, we're going to reach for the inner edges of both feet. So take the thumb side of your hand to the big toe side of your feet, reaching for the insides, the inseam of your foot. Start to open the shoulders so you feel that lift before we even come into the pose. Exhale, empty the breath. And then as you inhale, press your feet into your hands, hands into your feet. Lift thighs and chest off the mat. So with every inhale, inflating, lifting a little bit higher, maybe rocking forward and back. And let this be expansive. So we're not compressing the lower spine or straining in any way. Just come up only as far as it feels natural and spacious. So we want not to create more tension with this back bend. It's already an activating posture. Inflate the lungs and slowly release down. Pillow your hands, rest your forehead, sway the hips side to side. When you feel the sensation from the back bend completely dissolve, so you have no residual sensation in the lower back. You can start to bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, either knees up or knees down, come into high plank and downward facing dog. Let this be a bit of a counter pose to the back bend, so not full spinal flexion here, but just creating that little bit of an inversion to let the bones of the spine realign. And then we'll touch the big toes together. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale to the center, coil in, curl the spine around the back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw your navel in and up, press down through your hands, relax the head. Inhale, extend. Last one like this. Exhale, create that space, press down to lift up and step your left foot through between your hands. This time back heel turns flat in preparation for warrior one. So your heels are either in one straight line or slightly apart. Back toes at 45 degrees, front knee deeply bent. Inhale, come up, warrior one. Lengthen both arms skyward as you sink down into that front knee. Really wrap the rib cage so that your shoulders are square to the front. Feel that freedom between the ribs and pelvis. They can move independently. Big breath in. As you exhale, reach forward, fold halfway. Feel the outer left ribs sort of married to the left thigh. Then we'll take the right arm back behind you. So stretch fingertips in opposite directions now. Start to wrap your left shoulder under right. So we're stacking the shoulders. And then we'll bring the left hand to the left shin. Start to straighten the left leg as you reach your right arm skyward for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Wrap the left sitting bone underneath your body. Press down through the knife edge of your back foot. Equalize the loading of your front foot between all four corners of that foot. Spread the toes, and then begin to roll the shoulders open even more. Gaze down at your foot to free the neck, and then create a big wide circle as you send your gaze toward your right fingertips. So freeing any tension in the cervical spine. Now we will gaze down at the left toes once again. This time bend deeply into the left knee as far as you can go. Stretch your left fingertips to the top of your mat. Touch down with those fingertips. And then slowly give the weight of your right foot to your left. Stack the hips, stack the shoulders. So we're reaching out in all directions here. Again, make sure your top leg is not too far back or forward. And then spread the left toes, press evenly through all four corners of that foot. See if you can lift the weight of the body off the left hip so you have space in the hip crease there. Last big breath here. As slowly as you can, control the descent of that back foot. Lower it down to the mat. Let your hands frame your front foot. Come onto the back toes. Inhale, plank. Exhale all the way to the belly. Your back bend, cobra with the hips down, or upward dog, the hips lift and the arms straighten. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here, collect your breath. And as you inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees, lift your heels, step your feet again to the outside of your hands. So we have the feet slightly wider than hips width distance. We're going to practice and play with an arm balance here. So I want you to bend your knees deeply so that you feel the heart, belly, chest come between the upper thighs, sort of like you're snuggling your shoulders in between the legs here. You can start to squeeze the legs to the outer shoulders. And then we'll take the hands behind your heels. So you really have to kind of curl the shoulders underneath the calf muscles here. Tips stay facing forward. Start to shift the weight back until the heels of your hands touch down. Press evenly through all 10 finger pads. And then start to lift the chest, gaze forward as you lower the hips to the level of the knees. So they're not sinking down. They're lowering intentionally by curling the pubic bone toward the navel, lifting navel into the spine, sending the chest and heart forward. To shift weight into your hands, lift your right heel toward your navel. If that feels good, start to lift your left heel toward your navel. Cross at the ankles. Now, to create the circuit of energy, curl the belly in, hug your knees into your shoulders. This is where the posture gets its name, shoulder squeezing pose, Bhuja Pidasana. So we're squeezing the shoulders to lift the base of the spine. Send your heart forward. Really find that extension and breathe. You can even take some pulses here, bending the elbows and then straightening the arms, squeezing the shoulders as best as you can. Release the feet to the mat. Slowly start to give the weight from your hands to your feet. Bring your hands out in front. This time, we'll release the wrists by taking the hands under the feet. So take your fingertips toward your heel and press the toes into the heels of the hands. So a little bit of massage there to release any tension in the wrists. Inhale, lift halfway with the spine, and then exhale, fold any amount. So see if you can relax your arms as best as you can, increasing blood flow here and relaxing the wrists and hands. Slowly let that go. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, stretch your arms overhead, and exhale, hands through the heart, Samastitihi. Let your arms rest by your sides. We'll come into our final working wave next, so bring the big toes to touch. As you're ready, chair pose. Inhale, sit back, reach the arms high. See how low you can go without overarching the lower back, so that gentle curl of the sitting bones toward the inner heels as you ripple up the spine to straighten. Bring your hands to your heart, sink a little bit deeper. We're coming into our final Kriya here. Take a big inhale in chair, press your palms together. And then as you exhale, twist to the right, reach your right arm back, left elbow to right knee. Inhale, come through center to the opposite side, right elbow, left knee, left arm stretches back. Inhale through center, we'll pick up the pace. Inhale, exhale, find that breath rhythm. Inhale deeply and exhale completely. Find that twist to facilitate the exhale. Inhale, exhale. You should feel this fire up the legs here. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next time you are twisting to the right, let's hold. So bring the hands toward the heart by pressing that top hand, into the bottom. Square the hips to the front of your mat. Sink the hip creases down. You're aiming for thighs close to parallel. So you're in that deep-seated chair. And then we wrap the left low ribs underneath you to twist. Maybe gaze over your right shoulder. Breathing here. Try not to hold the breath in the presence of this deep twist. Inhale, come through center, chair pose. Maybe a slight posture break with the legs. And then exhale, twist. Let's hold. Hook that right elbow to the outside of left knee. Press your left hand down into the right. Twist open through the heart. Square the hips. Sink the hip creases back. Feel that strength from the ground up. So press all 4 corners of your feet down and then bend the knees a little more deeply. Stack the shoulders, maybe gaze over the left shoulder. Big breath here, last one. And slowly come through center, chair pose. Inhale and exhale, fold. Feel that release that comes with straightening the legs, maybe pedal out the feet. Lift the spine halfway, inhale. Your choice as you exhale, either straight to downward dog or enjoy a vinyasa, lowering all the way to the mat. Hug the elbows into your sides as you lift into your back bend, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Catch your breath. Bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, right leg rises, hips stay square. Exhale, cross your body, right knee to left elbow, round in. Back up and extend. Inhale. Exhale, cross the body. So we're working all sides in the abdominals here. Exhale, cross. Last one, reach up. This time straight through center. Step your right foot through between your hands. Back heel turns flat for warrior 1. Once again, hips stay square. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Square the shoulders to the front of the mat. Deep bend in that front knee. Inhale. As you exhale, fold halfway. So bring the outer right ribs to the right thigh. This time, we're going to reach the right arm back behind. So stretch right fingertips away from left fingertips. And we'll lower the left hand to the inside of right foot. Begin to step the back foot in if you need to. Straighten the right leg. Right arm reaches skyward. Revolved triangle pose. Let's refine it here. So you can be up on your finger pads of that left hand or a block if you have it. Let's square the hips. So dial the right hip crease back, left hip forward until the pelvis is level. And then the rib cage moves independently. We open that right arm skyward, stretching the fingertips. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the sitting bones. Wrap your left low ribs underneath you. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Let's gaze down at the right foot. Start to bend into the right knee. Crawl your left fingertips forward. Give the weight from your left foot to your right. Lift up, revolved half moon B. So here, really work to square the hips. Hug the inner thighs to the midline. And then rotate. So it's that stability in the lower body, the stability in the pelvis that allows you to freely rotate the upper body here. Last big breath. And slowly touch the back toes down. Release your right hand to the mat. Your choice, either downward dog or move through your vinyasa. We'll meet there in downward dog. Pedal out the feet. Again, feel the difference from one side to the other. The side that has received this first wave. And then know what is coming for the second side. Before we head in that direction though, let's inhale, come forward to plank. Lower all the way to the mat. Bring your chin or your forehead to the earth. We'll have one more round of Dhanurasana or bow pose. So we'll hug the inner thighs close together so that we're starting with the legs hip width distance apart. This time as we bend the knees, we'll reach for the outer edges of the feet or the ankles. So your thumbs can turn down. And we create that energy to the center, so hug the inner thighs to the midline. You might start to feel a stretch already in the tops of the thighs. That's okay. And then with our next big breath in, we'll lift thighs and heart off the mat. Press your feet into your hands. Hug the inner knees to the midline. So we're keeping that nice spacious quality in the lower back. Use the equal and opposite action. Press feet into hands, hands into feet. So you should feel that stretch across the shoulders. And then we activate the legs by pressing the feet into hands. That'll keep the lower back nice and long. It'll avoid the tendency to crunch into the lower back when we back bend. So instead, we activate the legs to create that length and that space. Last big breath here. Inhale. Lift 1 inch higher. And slowly release. Pillow the hands. Rest your forehead. Sway the hips side to side. And this one kind of our most intense back bending posture yet. So we'll take a few extra breaths to let that sensation work its way through the body. Just absorbing the energetic upgrade here. You might feel more awake, more activation. And then only when you're ready, bring your hands under shoulders, tuck your toes, knees up or knees down, come into plank and downward facing dog. Again, let this downward dog be a bit of a counter pose for the back bend. You might still feel some sensation there. Pedal out the feet for a few rounds of breath. And then as you're ready, let the big toes come to touch. Inhale, stretch your left leg back. Cross the body, exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, re-extend. Keep the shoulders square as you come through this revolved core plank. This twist across the body. Last one, exhale. Inhale, reach up. This time straight through center. Step your left foot through between your hands. You can shorten your stance just a little bit. Let the back heel come down. Prepare the legs for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Really root down through that back heel. Bend deeply into the front knee. Wrap the shoulders square to the front. Lift up out of the hip creases. Inhale, breath. As you exhale, fold halfway forward. Stretch the fingertips away from the back heel. This time we'll take the left arm behind. So stretch left fingertips away from the right. Create that length. And slowly, right hand touches down inside the left foot, either on finger pads or a block or the palm flat. And then we'll step the back foot in a touch, start to straighten the left leg as you reach the left arm skyward, revolved triangle pose. Take a big breath here. And then start to refine the posture. So lengthen out of the hip creases. We stretch the left hip crease back, right hip forward to level the pelvis. Once you have that stable lower body position, then we rotate the upper body to facilitate the twist. Spread evenly through all four corners of your left foot. Wrap the inner thighs toward the midline and back in space to create that internal rotation of the hips. Last few breaths here. See if you can stack the shoulders fully, rotate, and then we gaze down at the left foot. Bend deeply into the left knee. Crawl the right fingertips forward. Start to send the weight from the right foot to the left for revolved half moon B. Now lift the weight off the left hip crease. Level the pelvis and then twist a little deeper. Feel that full revolved posture. Last big breath. And slowly touch the back toes down. Left hand comes to frame the left foot. Inhale, plank posture. Exhale all the way to the earth. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Enjoy a breath or two here. Really stretch out the shoulders. Press down and forward with all 10 finger pads. Lift up and back with the hip creases. Gaze forward between your hands. Step the thumbs a little bit closer together. Bend your knees, lift your heels. And as you exhale, step the feet to the outer edges of your hands. Come into that nice deep squat once again. We'll have one final attempt to play with an arm balance before cooling down. So get ready from this squat. We're going to be working with crow pose. So you can take your hands out in front of you, spread your fingers nice and wide. Prepare to really root down through all 10 finger pads. Then we're going to hop the feet together so the big toes and heels touch. So we have the inner edges of the feet married together, inner ankles hugging together. Then we lower hips to heels, let the knees splay open, but you still have that circuit of energy. So there's still kind of a magnetizing to the center. Then we'll bend the elbows, get nice and low and round into the preparation phase for crow pose. Then we'll slowly, keeping the inner edges of the feet together, start to lift the hips off the heels. Bring the feet towards the armpits. So you have that nice rounded sensation in the back. You press the backs of the arms into the knees, knees into the backs of the arms, and then stretch the heart forward. Begin to give the weight one at a time. Kind of rock forward and back from your feet to your hands. And then we hug right heel into the sitting bone, left heel into the sitting bone. Both heels now curl to the center. Don't sweat it if you fall out like I just did, and gently encourage yourself, invite yourself back in. Lift up through the heart, press down through your finger pads, coil through the belly, all these key actions we've been working on. Breathe, steady your gaze, steady your focus. Try to lower the hips slightly by coiling energy to the midline. And slowly release, come down, shake out your wrists. Nice deep breaths here. So all of these postures really uncovering our natural source of energy. You might start to feel that here. And then we'll slowly lower onto a seat, a comfortable seat. Now it is time, after that slow and steady work, to cool down, to ground your energetic body. So we activate and then we come back to our baseline to create this nice, steady, energetic quality throughout. I want you to bend your left knee underneath you. Take your right foot to the outside of left knee. And let both sitting bones stay grounded. If this is too much in that bottom knee, you can always extend that leg straight out. We're coming into a seated twist next. Let's take the left arm nice and high. Wrap that left arm around to the outside of right knee. Keep your spine upright the entire time. Right fingertips step behind you, left hand to the heart. As you breathe in, lengthen up through the bones of the spine, creating more space. And then as you exhale, rotating into that space. Maybe gaze over right shoulder. And don't be afraid of letting your hips twist a little bit. So we don't need to create that same fixity that we had in some of our standing postures. In this seated twist, you can let the hips move a little bit. Let them be a little bit more free. Slowly gaze back toward the front of your mat. Release the twist nice and gently. We'll keep this shape of the legs. Just bring the sole of the left foot to the mat. You can turn your fingertips back behind you and then lift up, send heart, belly, chest toward that front thigh. You can heel toe your front heel a little bit closer to your body to deepen the sensation. So seated pigeon here. We've got this nice figure four shape. Just make sure you're not shrugging in the shoulders, staying nice and relaxed. And then we'll take the shape of the legs. You can inch your way over to the left side of your mat. We'll lower the shape of the legs to the right. You can uncross your ankles, coming into wheel of life pose. So here we've got this zigzag shape in the legs. You want to keep the hip bones grounded to start so you feel that connection to the earth. And then we'll turn to the right. Bring your right forearm down to the mat. This might be enough sensation. You might feel this a lot in the top of the left thigh. If you still need a little bit more, we're reaching that left arm overhead towards the back of your mat. So creating length in the left side, waist, left hip flexor, top of the left thigh. Keep the inner edge or the top of your left foot rooting down and then stretching away from that point. You can even start to turn the torso a little bit more towards the back of the mat, getting an even deeper stretch. And then slowly back up through center. We will windshield wiper the knees just a little bit side to side. And then we will switch sides. So the right knee bends underneath you, left foot to the outside of right knee. Let the sitting bones anchor down, connect with the earth, and then inhale, right arm rises. As you exhale, twist. Take the right elbow to the outside of left knee. Bring your right hand to your heart, left fingertips behind you. Stretch up through the bones of the spine here. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. With every inhale, creating length and space, breathe into the belly so you feel that equal and opposite action, that gentle massage in the abdominal wall. And then maybe gaze over the left shoulder. Can you feel the expansion of your heart, belly, chest into your hand? And then twist a little deeper on the exhale. Send your gaze toward the top of your mat. Release the twist nice and easy. Step your right foot to the floor. Keep your left ankle crossed over right knee. Press your hands behind you. Lift heart, belly, chest to that top shin. Seated pigeon here. You might give a gentle rock side to side, whatever feels best in your hips. We'll be here one more very deep breath as you start to feel your attention pull inward. You might even close the eyes if that feels good. And then we'll start to inch our way over to the right side of the mat. And then we'll lower the shape of the legs to the left, letting the ankle come uncrossed. And again, you've got the inner knee, outer knee touching down in this zigzag shape. So you feel a little bit of a stretch in the right thigh already. And then we'll turn to the left, bring your left forearm down to the mat, reach your right arm overhead. Feel the length all the way down the right side, the front of the thigh, the hip flexor. You can start to maybe square the shoulders a little bit more towards the back of the mat. Keep the inner edge of your right foot or the top of your right foot pressing down. Really reach, extend, feel that stretch. Letting the head be nice and relaxed. We're not holding any tension in the neck. And then we'll slowly come out, back through center. Once again, windshield wiper the legs, side to side. From here, we will slowly lower all the way onto the back. Hug your knees into your chest. Gently massage the lower back, rocking side to side. So in these next few moments, just an opportunity to take any closing postures that might feel good in your body. Before we enter our final resting pose, maybe circling out the knees, maybe a happy baby, supine twist, whatever you need to make your practice feel complete. And for Shavasana, you have lots of different options. I'll offer a few here. You can bring the knees in, let the feet splay out so that you have some release for the sacrum. You can extend your legs long. Maybe you're resting on one side of your body. If you have to choose, maybe letting the left side be the one so that your right side is upright, open. This is an energizing practice. Or perhaps, like my favorite, you might take legs up the wall and let your arms relax fully and just kind of give any last shimmies and shakes that you need to let energy exit the body so that you can drop fully into relaxation. As you prepare to enter our closing rest posture together, let the eyes softly close. And once again, just scan from head to toe, just noticing what has grown from that intention you set in the earliest breaths of our practice. Where does your body feel more awake? Where do you feel sensation? How can you bring your attention to the body, any sensation that arises, as a practice of true presence, noticing what's happening right here, right now. Release any control you might still have over the breath. Let it move naturally in and out. And then as you allow your body to feel heavy, can you reframe your relationship to that feeling of heaviness as being grounded, as being steady, as being relaxed? Let your awareness continue to move inward, exploring the depths of your inner landscape for about 1 to 2 minutes more. As always, I encourage you to stay in this resting posture as long as you can, as long as you need, as long as you like. And for that reason, I will close our practice together from your final resting posture, so that if it feels called for, you might choose to stay for more moments. And I'll just close with a very deep thank you from my heart to yours for sharing your practice, for showing up, and for letting your body be moved.